Words are classified into 9 parts of speech according to the function or the role that they play in a sentence. And the 9 parts of speech are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, article, conjunction and interjection. So let us begin with noun. What is a noun and what are the different types of noun? Naming word is a noun. That is, noun is the name of a person, place, animal or thing. Now, do remember that as far as nouns are concerned, there are different types of nouns. Now, what are the categories? Proper noun, common noun, collective noun, abstract noun. So, proper noun is the name of a particular person or a place or a thing. For instance, Mahatma Gandhi, or say India, or say Mumbai, New Delhi, Guwahati. So these are all examples of proper noun. Now, common noun, a general term for a person or a thing. For instance, cow, or say cat, or say girl. Yes, these are all examples of common noun, right? Collective noun, group of people or a thing, right? So it's considered to be a single unit. For instance, family is an example of a collective noun, right? Team or say group, right? Flock, yes, a flock of birds, right? So flock or say bunch of bananas, right? So these are all examples of collective noun. Now the next one is abstract noun. Abstract noun is the name of a, yes, concept or an idea. Yes, you can't touch or you can't see it, but you can just feel it, right? For instance, beauty, or say love, happiness, justice, freedom, right? These are all abstract concepts and ideas, right? So this is abstract noun. So do remember that noun is again divided into different types of noun. Now the next category is pronoun. Pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun, in the place of a noun. Now there are again different types of pronoun. The very first one is a personal pronoun for a particular person or a thing. For instance, I, you, we, he, she, they. These are all examples of personal pronoun. Indefinite pronoun, yes, for a non-specific person or a thing. For instance, yes, anyone, someone, something, everyone. Yes, these are all examples of indefinite pronoun. The next category is demonstrative pronoun. For instance, this, that, these, those. These are all examples of demonstrative pronoun. The next one is interrogative pronoun. Yes, the words that we are using for asking questions like what, which, who, whom, whose. These are all examples of interrogative pronoun. The next one is possessive, which expresses possession, right? Ownership. For instance, mine, his, hers, ours, theirs. These are all examples of possessive pronouns. The next one is reflexive. Yes, it reflects back to the subject. For instance, myself, himself, herself, ourselves. Yes, these are all examples of reflexive pronouns. So these are all different categories of pronouns. Pronoun is a word that is used in the place of a noun. Describing words are known as adjectives, right? Which means that words that describe a noun or a pronoun are adjectives. Now, adjectives are again of different types. For instance, descriptive adjectives like tall, or say short, beautiful, interesting, boring. These are all examples of descriptive adjectives. The next one is comparative adjectives like taller, shorter, longer, right? These are examples of comparative adjectives. Superlative adjectives, for instance, the best, the least, the worst. Yes, these are examples of superlative adjectives. We also have examples of, for instance, compound adjectives like absent-minded, curly-haired, Yes, these are all examples of, yes, it's a combination of two words, right? So these are compound adjectives. Then we also have, for instance, demonstrative adjectives like this, that, these, those. Possessive adjectives, my, his, her, right? Also we have interrogative adjectives like which, whose, right? These are examples of interrogative adjectives, which means that there are also different categories or types of adjectives, that is describing words that describe a noun or a pronoun. What is an adverb and what are the different kinds of adverbs? So an adverb is a word that describes or modifies a verb or an adjective in a sentence, which means that it gives more information, it adds more meaning regarding the frequency, manner, degree, time or place of an action. Accordingly, there are different kinds of adverbs. So the very first one is adverbs of manner. For instance, words like quickly, slowly, loudly. The next is adverbs of frequency, always, never, sometimes. Yes. The next is adverbs of degree, very, extremely, enough. Yes, quite. The next is adverbs of place, here, there, everywhere. And the next is adverbs of time, sooner, later, now, then. So accordingly we have different types of adverbs. So do remember that an adverb adds meaning or it adds more information regarding the state of action. Words that indicate action in a sentence are known as verbs. So verbs are also known as action words in a sentence. Now there are again different types of verbs. For instance, the two main categories are main verb or the primary verb and auxiliary verb, which is also known as the helping verb. We'll talk about the auxiliary verb in a while. Let us first of all discuss the main verb. Alright, that's the primary verb. For instance, words like kick, jump, sit, play, cry, dance, sing. These are all examples of the main verb in a sentence. The boy kicked the ball. So kicked is the main verb, the primary verb, the action verb, right? Now, verbs can also be transitive and intransitive verb. Now, what's the meaning of a transitive verb and how is it different from an intransitive verb? Now, verbs that take an object after it is a transitive verb, which means when there is an object after a verb, that verb is known as a transitive verb. For instance, she is writing a book. So a book is the object and writing is the verb, right? So this is a transitive verb. Now, we smiled. The child cried. So there is no object. Have you noticed? In the two sentences that I have mentioned just now, we smiled. The child cried. Yes, there is a verb, but the verb has no object, right, after it. So such type of verbs are known as intransitive verb. So do remember the two distinctions, transitive and intransitive verbs. Now let us talk about the helping verbs in a sentence. Helping verbs, that is auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs, they help the main verb in a sentence in expressing meaning. For instance, you see in the sentence, she is writing a book. Writing is the main verb and is the auxiliary verb. She has taken her food. So has taken. Taken is the main verb. Has is the auxiliary verb. Now, primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. When we talk about auxiliary verbs, there are two classifications. Primary auxiliaries, which means they are the different forms of the be, do and have verbs. So be, what are the different forms of the be verb? Am, is, are, was, were, been, being, right? Do, what are the different forms of the do? Done, did. And the different forms of has is have, has, right? Had. And so what are modal auxiliaries now? They indicate modality. Modal auxiliaries, they indicate modality. They express, what do they express? Certainty, possibility, willingness, yes, obligations, and also necessity and ability. Now, what are the examples of modal auxiliaries? Can, could, may, might, shall, should, right? These are all examples of modal auxiliaries. Now, what are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are when we add a preposition or a particle, yes, to a verb, then we have a phrasal verb. For instance, put on, yes, when we are adding the preposition on with put, we have a phrasal verb. Put on means to wear, right? Take off, yes, that's another example of a phrasal verb. Another example of a phrasal verb is, for example, given, come across, right? These are all examples of phrasal verbs. So do remember the different types of verbs that I have discussed. Yes, the main verb, the primary verb or the action verb, right? And we have the helping verb or the auxiliary verb, right? And when we talk about the main verb, we can talk about the further two distinctions, that is the transitive verb and the intransitive verb.
Articles modify a noun and indicates whether the noun is a specific noun or a general noun. Now, there are two kinds of articles, the definite article the and indefinite article a and an. The definite article the is used to refer to specific nouns or previously mentioned nouns. For instance, the sun rises in the east. I am reading the book that you lent me yesterday. So do remember. And the indefinite article a and an are used to refer to non-specific or general nouns. For instance, a book, an apple, a doctor, an engineer. So do remember that we use a before nouns that start with a consonant sound, and we use an before nouns that start with a vowel sound. Let us try to understand what is a preposition. Preposition is a word that shows the relationship between a noun or a pronoun with the other words in a sentence. Now, words like on, in, by, beside, to, into, across, over, through, these words that you come across are prepositions in a sentence. Now, I'll give you a few examples of prepositions. I will meet you at 5 o'clock. The word at is preposition of time. Now, let me give you an example of preposition of place. For example, the cat is sitting under the table. So, under is preposition of place. Now, if I say that the ball is rolling down the hill, the word down is preposition of direction. Let us try to understand what is a conjunction and what are the different types of conjunctions. So conjunctions are words that connect words, phrases, and clauses in a sentence. So let me now give you examples of conjunctions. Words like and, but, so, Yet, these are coordinating conjunctions. For instance, he likes to read books and he also enjoys watching movies. So the word and here in this sentence is an example of a coordinating conjunction. Now, let me give you some examples of subordinating conjunctions. Conjunctions that connect a subordinate clause with the independent clause. Now, such conjunctions are, for instance, because, since, although, if. Now, let me give you an example using a sentence. I went to the city yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment there. So here I have used the word because, and this is a subordinating conjunction. Now, words like either, or, neither, nor, not only but also. Yes, these conjunctions are always used in pairs of equal importance, right? For connecting clauses, phrases, and words in a sentence. These conjunctions are known as correlative conjunctions. Let me give you an example using it in a sentence. He can not only sing well, but he can also play the guitar. So these are all different types of conjunctions. Do remember coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunction. Let us try to understand what is an interjection. Interjections are words that express sudden feelings and emotions. It could be emotions of anger, surprise, happiness, sadness, pain. Yes, it could be any emotion for that matter. I'll give you certain examples. Wow, what a beautiful location. So the word wow that I've used here is an interjection. Hurrah, we won the game. The word hurrah is an interjection. Ouch, my foot hurts. Ouch is an interjection. Alas, she is no more. The word alas, yes, it expresses sorrow, right? So that is also an interjection.